You know, Dave, despite the ups and downs in recent years and the inability at times to compete with the elite teams, Alabama in conference and a few others out of conference, a losing streak against Florida State, we have often talked about the defense and specifically the defensive secondary. And there we see it in round number 2, right at the top of the second round at the NFL draft. Uh, Marcus Maye goes off the board at pick number 7 in the second round to the New York Jets. You've got the 14th pick, just 7 picks later, Quincy Wilson, after a successful career there, going to the Indianapolis Colts. And we also have Teez Tabor, of course, going to the Lions as well, just a few picks after that. So in the space of about 14 picks, you got 3 DBs coming off the board from Florida.
3 DBs. And Mark, here's a cool little stat for you. Washington was the first school in the modern era of the draft to have 3 DBs selected in the second round. Florida did it the same night as well. So 2 schools kind of bucked the trend there in the modern era of the draft of having 3 DBs selected in the second round. So you mentioned Marcus Maye, Quincy Wilson, Teez Tabor. It was a little bit of a surprise to Gator Nation and a few of SEC followers that Quincy Wilson fell out of the first round. He was kind of projected to be a first-round pick and fell down a bit to where he was actually picked behind Marcus Maye, was the second DB selected. He was selected ahead of Teez Tabor, Teez Tabor, for whatever reason, we saw on the field how good of a player he was, but he just could not run the 40 at the NFL Combine or the Florida Pro Day, and I guess it really did have an effect on his draft order where he fell to the second round. But Marcus Maye, good for him as well. Another guy you could really get behind at Florida, who wasn't. He was a 4-star recruit, but he stayed till his senior season. Was not a early departure. Got better every year under the Florida defense, whether it be Will Muschamp, whether it be Jim McElwain with Jeff Collins and Randy Shannon. We're able to get better every year, and that's what you want to see of a guy. Good for him. Staying his senior year, he definitely upped his draft stock. Same with Jared Davis. Jared Davis could have came out last year as well, but thankfully he didn't. He made himself a first-round pick. Marcus Maye, a high second-round pick. So Florida, it hasn't been a problem. 8 drafts. 8 draftees in this draft, 7 of them on defense, David Sharp being the only offensive guy. We know, Florida has been known for their defense for quite some time now. But in that second round, it really showed its strength with that Florida secondary with Maye, Wilson, and Tabor.